I've never watched something so slowly unfold on my screen. Every pixel felt like a knife in my chest as the truth materialized before my eyes. There they were, the people I loved most in this world, laughing around a kitchen table scattered with empty wine bottles and shattered pieces of my trust. "We only really like Sophie when she sends us money," my mother said, her words slurring slightly as she swirled her wine glass. My father lifted his beer bottle in a mocking toast. "The more money she sends, the more we like her." Their laughter pierced my soul like shards of ice. 29 years of sacrifice reduced to a cruel joke over drinks. My name is Sophie. This is how I discovered I was nothing but an ATM to my family, and how a single anonymous video on my 30th birthday finally set me free. For nearly 3 decades, I believed I was the good daughter, the responsible one. While my friends built their lives, I built my family's. As a software programmer, I earned enough to give myself a comfortable existence, maybe even a luxurious one. Instead, I survived on instant noodles and wore the same clothes for years while my family lived like royalty on my dime. My modest house was the only thing I'd ever purchased for myself, and even that small act of self-care came with overwhelming guilt. Every mortgage payment felt selfish, every moment of joy tainted by the thought that my family might need more from me. I'm the oldest of 3 children. Ashley is 26, and Austin is 24. From the moment I could work, my parents hammered into me that being the oldest meant sacrifice. "Sophie, you're so smart and capable," my mother would say with calculating eyes barely hidden behind her syrupy sweet voice. "Your siblings look up to you. You need to set an example." My father took a blunter approach. "We're counting on you to help keep this family together." His words always arrived with a heavy hand on my shoulder, pressing down with expectations I couldn't escape. So I did what I thought good daughters do. I started working at 16 while my siblings enjoyed their teenage years. I earned a full scholarship to college, then spent my nights doing freelance programming instead of making friends or falling in love. The loneliness crept in so gradually I hardly noticed it happening. First came the missed parties, then the canceled coffee dates, then the holidays spent taking extra shifts because the money was better. Before I realized what had happened, I was 29 with a successful career and an empty life. My only real connection was to a family that, as I would soon discover, saw me as nothing but a walking bank account. Every month like clockwork, parents' mortgage, Ashley's rent, Austin's expenses, and emergency money that somehow became expected. These payments consumed most of my salary, but when my parents proudly told their friends, "Our eldest takes care of the whole family," the warm glow of their approval made my sacrifices seem worthwhile. I was so desperate for their love that I mistook financial dependence for affection. For my 30th birthday, I wanted something special but manageable. Large crowds make my palms sweat and my heart race, so I decided to host everyone at my house, just family, just us. I ordered an elaborate spread from an expensive restaurant, Mom's beloved chicken parmesan, Dad's go-to lasagna, Ashley's favorite salmon, and Austin's preferred steak. I even splurged on a chocolate cake that cost more than my entire weekly food budget. The week before, I cleaned like someone possessed. New plates, new glasses, fresh flowers perfectly arranged on the dining table I rarely used. Everything had to be perfect for the people I believed meant everything to me. The food delivery was scheduled for Saturday afternoon, right before everyone arrived at 5. I was genuinely excited. We hadn't all been together in months. This would be beautiful, I thought. Me, surrounded by the people who loved me most. 2 days before my birthday, everything changed. I was checking emails after work when I noticed one from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line was simple, "For Sophie." The sender showed as anonymous. My first instinct was to delete it as spam, but something, intuition or fate, made me hesitate. The message was brief: "Watch this video and find out how your family really treats you." My heart stuttered in my chest. Who would send something like this? What could they possibly mean? I stared at the video file attachment for what felt like hours, my cursor hovering over it before I finally clicked play. The video quality was grainy, clearly filmed in secret, but I could see well enough. My family sitting around what looked like Ashley's kitchen table. Wine glasses and beer bottles scattered around them, their faces flushed with alcohol and laughter. I turned up the volume and leaned closer to my screen. What I heard next froze the blood in my veins. You know what's funny? Mom was saying, taking a casual sip of wine. We only really like Sophie when she sends us money. Dad laughed, actually laughed, and raised his beer bottle. Yeah, the more money she sends, the more we like her. They erupted in laughter as if this was the most hilarious joke they'd ever heard. My hand started shaking so violently I could barely hold my laptop. Ashley wiped tears from her eyes. Oh my God, you guys are terrible. But seriously, it's so funny watching her try to dress up for things. She has zero taste. She looks so pathetic in those outfits she picks out. I looked down at what I was wearing, a simple sweater and jeans I thought looked nice. Was this how they saw me? Pathetic? Austin shook his head, still grinning. I can't believe she's having her birthday party at home instead of taking us somewhere expensive. What's the point of having money if you don't spend it on us? She's probably just scared of big crowds, Ashley added with a smirk. Too afraid to show herself in public. More laughter. More casual cruelty delivered with the ease of people who'd clearly had this conversation before. They were right about the crowds. I did prefer small gatherings. I thought they understood that about me. I thought they respected it. Instead, they saw it as another weakness, another thing to mock when I wasn't around. Austin took another gulp of beer. The best part is we don't even have to give her expensive gifts. I mean, I don't want to give her anything at all. Right. Ashley jumped in eagerly. She gives us way too little money anyway. I need way more for my cosmetics and new gadgets. All she covers is rent and maybe throws me $100 or $2 extra. It's not enough. $100 or $2 extra? I was sending her almost $1,000 every month on top of her rent. What was she talking about? Mom nodded seriously, like they were discussing an important business strategy. We need to figure out how to hint that she should take better care of her family. Maybe we can make her feel guilty about not doing enough. And then Dad delivered the final blow. He raised his bottle again with a wicked grin to our little ATM. They all clinked their drinks together and burst into laughter that seemed to echo through my soul long after the video ended. ATM. That's all I was to them. Not a daughter. Not a sister. Not a person with feelings and dreams and worth. Just a machine that dispensed money when they needed it. I sat there staring at the black screen, feeling like I'd died inside. Everything I thought I knew about my family, about my life, about who I was to the people I loved most, it was all a lie. They didn't love me. They loved what I could give them. I couldn't breathe. 29 years of sacrifice played through my mind like a movie, all those extra shifts, all those lonely nights, all those dreams I'd put aside to support them. And for what? So they could laugh at me behind my back? The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. Heat rose in my chest, spreading through my limbs until my whole body burned with rage. This wasn't the dull, accepted pain I'd carried for years. This was clean, sharp, and liberating. For the first time in my adult life, I wanted to do something completely selfish. Something just for me. I picked up my phone and called my boss, Thomas. Hey, Sophie, what's up? He answered after 2 rings. Hi, Thomas. I need to ask you something. Is there any way I could take 2 weeks off starting tomorrow? Unpaid leave is fine. I just finished the Castillo project and don't have anything urgent coming up. 2 weeks unpaid leave? That's unusual for you. Is everything okay? I almost laughed at the question. Nothing was okay. My entire world had just collapsed. I just need some time away. Personal stuff. Sure, no problem. You've been working incredibly hard lately. Take the time you need. Thanks, Thomas. I really appreciate it. As soon as I hung up, I opened my laptop and started looking at flights. Hawaii. I'd always wanted to go to Hawaii, but I'd never allowed myself that luxury because I was too busy funding everyone else's lives. Well, not anymore. I found a flight leaving at 4 a.m. on my birthday, perfect timing. Then I booked the most expensive hotel I could find in Honolulu. The penthouse suite cost more than I usually spend on myself in 6 months, but I didn't care. I was done being cheap with myself while being generous with people who despised me. Next, I called the restaurant where I'd ordered all that elaborate food for tomorrow's celebration. Hi, this is Sophie Anderson. I placed a large catering order for pickup tomorrow. Yes, Ms. Anderson, everything is ready to go. The pickup time is 4 p.m., correct? Actually, I need to cancel the order. Can I get my money back? I'm sorry, but we've already purchased all the ingredients and started preparation. We can't refund the deposit. I thought for a moment, then smiled for the first time since watching that video. Okay, then please prepare everything as planned. But instead of me picking it up, I want you to deliver it all to the downtown homeless shelter. The address is 547 Main Street. There was a pause. You want us to deliver an $800 catering order to a homeless shelter? Yes. Can you do that? Well, I suppose so. That's very generous of you. At least someone would enjoy the food I'd ordered for my ungrateful family. But I wasn't done yet. I called a locksmith next. Hi, I need someone to come change all the locks on my house tomorrow morning. It's an emergency. We can have someone there by 8 a.m. What's the address? I gave him my information and scheduled the appointment. My parents had a spare key to my house. They wouldn't be getting in tomorrow, or ever again. That evening, I started packing for Hawaii with a lightness I hadn't felt in years. I threw clothes into my suitcase without overthinking, without calculating what was practical or affordable. For once in my life, I was thinking only about what I wanted. Around 9 p.m., my phone rang. Mom. Hi, sweetheart, she said in that fake, cheerful voice I now realized she'd always used with me, the voice reserved for the family cash cow. I just wanted to check that everything is ready for tomorrow. We're all so excited. I could barely contain my laughter. The irony was almost too perfect. Oh yes, Mom. I've organized everything. I can't wait to see you all. Wonderful. We'll be there at 5 p.m. sharp. Dad is bringing wine and Ashley said she's making her famous brownies. Famous brownies? Ashley had never baked anything in her life. That sounds perfect, Mom. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you, honey. Bye, Mom. I hung up and immediately started laughing, not happy laughter, but the kind of desperate, slightly unhinged laughter that comes when you're so angry and hurt that your emotions don't know how else to express themselves. They had no idea what was coming. They thought they were going to show up to another celebration funded by their personal ATM, ready to eat expensive food and give me cheap gifts while secretly mocking everything about me. They were in for such a surprise. I spent the rest of the evening double-checking my plans. Flight at 4 a.m., confirmed. Hotel reservation, confirmed. Locks being changed at 8 a.m., confirmed. Food going to the homeless shelter, confirmed. My family showing up at 5 p.m. to an empty house with new locks, guaranteed to be the highlight of my entire year. I set 3 alarms for 2 a.m. and went to bed with more excitement than I'd felt since childhood. Tomorrow was going to be the best birthday of my life. My alarms went off at 2 a.m., but I was already awake. I'd barely slept. I was too energized by the thought of finally doing something completely for myself. I got dressed quickly, grabbed my suitcase, and called an Uber to the airport. The ride was quiet in that perfect pre-dawn way. The driver didn't try to make small talk, which was exactly what I needed. I stared out the window at the empty streets and felt more alive than I had in years. At the airport, everything went smoothly. My flight was on time, and as I sat in the waiting area, I kept imagining my family getting ready for my birthday party. They probably hadn't even bought me real gifts. Austin had admitted he didn't want to give me anything at all. The flight to Hawaii was long, but I didn't mind. I watched movies, ate airplane food without worrying about the cost, and tried not to think too much about what was happening back home. Well, maybe I thought about it a little, and maybe I smiled every time I did. When I landed in Honolulu, the warm tropical air hit my face and I felt like crying, but good crying this time, the kind that comes from joy instead of betrayal. I took a taxi to the hotel, and when I walked into the lobby, my jaw dropped. Everything was marble and gold. Enormous flower arrangements filled every corner. The ceiling was so high I had to crane my neck to see it. This was the fanciest place I'd ever been in my entire life. "Welcome to the Royal Hawaiian Resort," the desk clerk said with a genuine smile that felt like a gift after years of fake family warmth. "You must be Ms. Anderson. We have the penthouse suite ready for you." "Thank you. And since it's your birthday, we have a complimentary bottle of our finest champagne waiting in your room." The suite was incredible. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the endless blue Pacific. A living room bigger than my entire downstairs. A bedroom with a bed so massive I could have fit my whole family on it, not that I wanted to anymore. The champagne was sitting on ice on the coffee table with a card that said "Happy Birthday" in elegant script. I poured myself a glass and walked out onto the balcony. The view was breathtaking, blue water stretching to the horizon, people on the beach looking like tiny dots below. I raised my glass to myself, and for the first time in years, it felt like a celebration worth having. "Happy 30th birthday, Sophie. Here's to finally doing something for yourself." Around noon, I started getting text messages from friends and coworkers wishing me happy birthday. Real messages from people who actually cared about me as a person. It felt wonderful to read them, but the messages I was really waiting for would come later. At exactly 5 p.m., my phone started ringing. "Mom." I let it go to voicemail. Then Dad called. Voicemail. Then Austin, then Ashley. I ignored them all with a satisfaction that was almost intoxicating. After about 10 minutes, the calls stopped and the text messages started flooding in. "Mom, Sophie, we're at your house, but no one is answering the door. Where are you? Dad, your mother and I are standing on your front lawn with gifts. What's going on? Ashley, this isn't funny, Sophie. We drove all the way over here. Austin, where the hell are you? We're all here waiting." I was lying on my hotel bed reading these messages and laughing so hard I could barely breathe. I could picture them standing outside my house, confused and frustrated, probably starting to panic as they realized their reliable ATM might be malfunctioning. The messages kept coming for the next hour, getting more and more desperate. "Mom, Sophie, this is a really bad joke. Please tell us where you are. Dad, we're worried about you. Just let us know you're safe. Ashley, I made brownies for nothing. This is so stupid. Austin, if this is some kind of game, it's not funny." Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to let them know that I knew the truth. I opened my phone and sent Mom the video that the anonymous person had sent me. Just the video, no explanation. Then I typed, "I'm away from my toxic family. I don't want to see any of you anymore." My phone went completely silent for exactly 37 minutes. I know because I was watching the clock, imagining them huddled together in my front yard trying to figure out how to explain themselves, how to spin this, how to make me the problem somehow. Finally, Mom texted back, "Sophie, that video isn't what it looks like. We were just joking around. We had too much to drink. We need to meet and talk about this." I typed back, "I don't want to see you anymore." Then I did something I'd been wanting to do for years but never had the courage to attempt. I opened my banking app and canceled every single automatic transfer I had set up. The mortgage payment to my parents, canceled. Ashley's rent money, canceled. Austin's rent money, canceled. The extra spending money I send each of them every month, gone. All of it, gone. I sent one final text to Mom, "I'm also stopping all financial support starting today. Don't contact me again." Then I turned off my phone completely. For the next 6 days, I didn't turn it on once. I spent my time on the beach, by the pool, eating amazing food and shopping for things I actually wanted. I bought clothes that I genuinely liked instead of just whatever was cheapest. I got my hair done at a fancy salon and felt like a completely different person walking out. Every morning, I woke up in that beautiful hotel room and remembered that I didn't have to send money to anyone. I didn't have to worry about whether my family had enough. I didn't have to sacrifice what I wanted for people who secretly hated me. The freedom was intoxicating. On my last day in Hawaii, I finally turned my phone back on. 43 missed calls and 68 text messages waited for me. I deleted them all without reading a single one. Whatever they had to say, I didn't want to hear it. That chapter of my life was over. The flight home felt different from the flight there. I was nervous about what I might find when I got back, but I was also stronger. I'd had 7 days to think about everything, and I knew I'd made the right choice. When I got home, my house looked exactly the same. The locksmith had done excellent work. There were no signs that anyone had tried to break in. I unpacked my suitcase and looked through all the things I'd bought for myself. Real things that I'd chosen because I wanted them, not because they were practical or cheap. That evening, just as I was settling in to watch TV in my own space, I heard knocking on my front door. Then voices. "Sophie, we know you're in there." Dad's voice, strained and desperate. "Please, honey, just talk to us." Mom sounded like she'd been crying for days. "Come on, Sophie. This is ridiculous." Ashley, still entitled even in crisis. "We're sorry, okay? We were just joking around." Austin's voice, but even his apology sounded angry. I walked to the door but didn't open it. "I told you I don't want to see any of you. If you don't leave right now, I'm calling the police." "Sophie, please." Mom was definitely crying now. "We're sorry. We were wrong. We need you." "You need my money," I said through the door. "That's not the same thing." "That's not true," Dad shouted, but his desperation made it obvious that it absolutely was true. "We love you." "No, you don't. I heard what you really think of me. Now leave." I walked away from the door and turned my music up as loud as it would go. I could still hear them knocking and shouting, but I ignored every sound. After about an hour, they finally gave up and left. But I knew they'd be back. 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from Melissa, Austin's girlfriend. I'd always genuinely liked Melissa. She seemed kind and authentic, unlike the rest of my family. "Hi, Sophie. Could we meet for coffee? I need to talk to you about something important." I was curious. "Sure, Melissa. Is everything okay? I'd rather talk in person. How about that cafe on 5th Street tomorrow at 2 p.m? "Okay, I'll be there." The next day, I arrived at the cafe early and got us a quiet table in the corner. When Melissa walked in, she looked nervous and upset. She sat down across from me and didn't even order anything. "Sophie, I have something to tell you, and I don't know how you're going to react." She took a deep breath. "I'm the one who sent you that video." My mouth fell open. "You? How did you even get it?" "I was at Ashley's apartment that night. I went to use the bathroom, and when I came back, they were all sitting around the kitchen table talking about you. I heard what they were saying and I couldn't believe it. So I started recording with my phone." I stared at her, trying to process this revelation. "Why did you send it to me?" "Because what they were saying was horrible, Sophie. I've watched how hard you work to help your family. I've seen how much money you send them. And then to hear them laughing at you, calling you pathetic, making fun of the way you dress, saying you're just an ATM to them." She shook her head with genuine disgust. "It made me sick." "Did Austin know you were recording?" "No. None of them knew. I sent it to you anonymously because I thought you deserved to know the truth about how they really feel." I felt tears forming in my eyes, but they were good tears this time. "Thank you, Melissa. That was the best thing anyone has ever done for me." "There's something else, Sophie." She looked down at her hands. "I broke up with Austin yesterday." "What? Why?" "After I saw what happened with you, I started paying attention to how he treated me. Really paying attention. And I realized he's just like the rest of your family. He's selfish and he only cares about what people can do for him. When he found out you'd cut off the money and he couldn't afford his apartment anymore, he got so angry. Not sad, not worried about you, just angry that his free ride was over." I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "I'm sorry you had to go through that." "Don't be sorry. You opened my eyes. If you hadn't cut them off, I might have married him and spent years dealing with his selfishness." We talked for another hour. Melissa told me that my family had been trying to reach me through mutual friends and acquaintances. I told her about my trip to Hawaii and how amazing it felt to finally do something completely for myself. "I'm proud of you, Sophie," she said as we prepared to leave. It took real courage to walk away from them. After Melissa left, I felt lighter somehow. Knowing that someone had cared enough about me to expose my family's lies made me feel less alone in this new chapter of my life. Over the next few months, my family kept trying to contact me, but their tactics grew increasingly desperate. They would wait for me outside my office building, trying to corner me in the parking lot. "Sophie, please, just 5 minutes," Mom would beg, looking haggard and desperate. "We can't pay the mortgage without you," Dad would say, as if this was my problem to solve. I had to move back in with Mom and Dad, Ashley would whine, as if this was somehow my fault. "This is all your fault," Austin would shout angrily. "We're family. You're supposed to help us." But I ignored all of them every single time. I would walk past them like they didn't exist and get in my car. Sometimes security from my building had to escort me to make sure they didn't follow me. About 6 months after my birthday, I found out through mutual friends what had happened to my family without my financial support. They couldn't keep up with their bills. Ashley's boyfriend Eric had broken up with her when he found out she couldn't split the rent on their apartment anymore. She'd had to move back in with my parents. Austin lost his apartment too and also moved back home. The 4 of them were now all living together in my parents' house, and my parents had to get second jobs to pay the mortgage without my help. I should have felt bad for them. The old Sophie would have felt guilty and probably started sending money again. But the new Sophie, the one who had seen that video and knew the truth, didn't feel sorry for them at all. I was saving more money than I ever had in my life. For the first time, I could actually see my bank account growing instead of watching it get drained every month. I bought myself nice clothes that I actually liked. I went to restaurants and ordered whatever I wanted. I took weekend trips to places I'd always wanted to see. Most importantly, I was happy. Really, truly happy in a way I hadn't been since I was a child. I also started looking for a new house somewhere across town where my family wouldn't be able to find me easily. I wanted a fresh start in a place that had no memories of them. The house I found was perfect. Smaller than my current one, but in a much nicer neighborhood. It had a big kitchen and a beautiful backyard with fruit trees. When I walked through it with the realtor, I could picture myself living there peacefully, without anyone knocking on my door demanding money or guilt-tripping me into taking care of them. I put in an offer the same day, and it was accepted. As I signed the paperwork to buy my new house, I thought about that video Melissa had sent me. It had been both the worst and best thing that ever happened to me. Worst because it showed me that the people I loved most in the world didn't really love me back. Best because it freed me from a life of being used and taken advantage of. Sometimes the most painful truths become the most liberating gifts. That video didn't just show me who my family really was, it showed me who I could become when I finally chose myself. Thanks for listening, and if you liked this story, share it with others, and don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about breaking free from toxic relationships and finding the courage to put yourself first. Remember, blood doesn't always equal love. Sometimes the family you choose is the one that truly matters.